Hello everyone, guten Morgen, guten Tag, and how are you doing? My name is Kendi Kaburu. Welcome to Learning German with LLS. I will be your German teacher for today. I hope you've had a chance to watch our videos, our previous videos on the different aspects of phonetics in German, because it's going to be very important for you, especially now as we get into the actual body of learning this beautiful, beautiful language that is German. So today we are going to talk about greetings because they are an important part of speaking any language, okay? So we're going to talk about greetings in German. And because I want us to talk about the time-specific greetings, it is important for us to first talk about the different times of the day and what they are called, okay? So the first part of the day definitely is morning, and morning is Morgen, okay? Morgen. So morning is Morgen. Let me just indicate that this is morning. Might add der Morgen, but I do not want to burden you with the articles just yet. Morgen. And then there is the period that we have that is between morning and noon. That technically is also called morning, but in English we have a word for it, which is mid-morning. In German, there's also a word for it, and that is Vormittag. 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 And I hope you're saying these words after me. Vormittag. Okay? Vormittag is therefore mid-morning. Okay? Then now we have Mittag, which is midday. Now let me ask you something. If Mittag is midday and Vormittag is mid-morning, or rather the time that is before midday, what then do you think vor means? If you guessed that it means before, you're right. Vor means before in this context. So, which brings us to afternoon then, which is Nachmittag. And I'm going to ask you so that you think about it. If vor is before and you said Vormittag, and then you have Mittag, and then you're saying that afternoon is Nachmittag, what do you think Nach means? If you guessed after, then you're very right. Nach means after. So Nachmittag is afternoon. Okay? Then after afternoon, of course, we have evening, which is Abend. Abend is evening. Abend. Okay? And then we have night, which is Nacht. Nacht. Die Nacht is night. I really hope you have watched our videos on pronunciations, because now it should be, these pronunciations wouldn't trouble you so much if you have that background. So we're saying morning is Morgen, okay? Vormittag is mid-morning. Mittag is midday. Nachmittag is in the afternoon, and we've said vor means before, nach means after. That can help you remember these words, because if you know Mittag and if you know vor means before and nach means after, then you're able to join the dots and figure out Vormittag, Mittag, and then Nachmittag. Evening is Abend and Nacht is night. Okay, so this is going to be helpful to you, because when you're talking about time-specific greetings, then it's going to be super, super easy for you having this knowledge. Because, and without using any more time, we're just going to get now to talk about the actual greetings that we use at these times of the day. So in the morning, Morgen, and of course, Morgen goes up to noon. Morgen includes everything, from the time your morning begins up to noon. We say Guten Morgen. Guten Morgen. Guten Morgen. Of course, I need to mention now when I'm talking about guten, I'm telling you guten and I'm pronouncing it as guten so that you know for purposes of learning. But if you're speaking to a person who is more fluent in German or a native speaker, or even me, sometimes you might hear me say guten, guten. That's just a matter of fluency, but for purposes of learning, we need to learn it as guten. So it's guten Morgen, okay? So guten Morgen, we use it during the morning hours. You can see it's very simple. Guten and Morgen. It's basically good morning, okay? Then we have Vormittag all the way to Nachmittag. To Nachmittag, you might hear people say, so Vormittag and let me just use a different. So Vormittag or Nachmittag, you'll hear people say Guten Tag. Guten Tag. Guten Tag. And let me repeat in case you've not heard me say this before. Don't get worried when you see me putting a lot of capital letters. It's because in German, every noun begins with a capital letter regardless of whether it is in the sentence, okay? So we have Guten Tag. This one, we use it all the way from Vormittag into the Nachmittag, okay? Then in the evening, am Abend, sagt man Guten Abend. Guten Abend. Guten Abend. Okay? We have Guten Abend. Guten morning, we have Guten Morgen, Guten Tag, and now we have Guten Abend, which is what we use in the evening. And let me just mention that Guten Abend as a greeting is used even at night in the sense of being a greeting. If you're meeting someone, for example, they've come home at 9 p.m., you don't say that to them good night, even in English, right? You say good evening. So Guten Abend is used even in that sense. And then now, of course, when it's forbidding someone goodbye in the evening, then you would say Gute Nacht, when someone is going to sleep. In der Nacht, we say Gute Nacht. Now, what difference do you notice between these greetings, the first three, Guten Morgen, Guten Tag, and Guten Abend, and Gute Nacht? I hope you were able to notice that while Guten Morgen, Guten Tag, and Guten Abend have an N at the end in the sense that it's Guten, for Nacht, it is Gute. Now, there's a reason to that. It's not a happy accident. There's a reason for that. And that reason, we're going to learn it more as we get into talking about the genders of nouns in German. But now I can simply hint at it and let you know that it's because the nouns Morgen, Tag, and Abend are masculine nouns, and the noun Nacht is a feminine noun. So that is why it is Gute Nacht. When you're saying it, you don't really notice the difference because Nacht begins with an N, so it sounds just like Gute Nacht. It's not easy for you to notice that it is Gute and not Guten, but when you're writing, I really, really implore you to remember that difference, okay? So in a Morgen, we say Guten Morgen. Am Vormittag oder Nachmittag, we say Guten Tag. Am Abend, we say Guten Abend. And in der Nacht, we say Gute Nacht. I hope you've gotten this, and I hope you've really gotten the part of the day, because that is the part that will help you know the greetings that are time specific, okay? Just one more time, just to repeat this, for the time specific greetings, in the morning, we say Guten Morgen. In the Vormittag oder Nachmittag, we say Guten Tag. Am Abend, we say Guten Abend. in der Nacht, we say gute Nacht. Now, these are the time-specific greetings. But then, if you want to know how someone is doing, if you want to take it a notch higher and find out how someone is doing, we use the phrase Wie geht es bei dir? Wie geht es by is silent, but it's Wie geht es dir or Ihnen. Now, I would not want so much to get into the difference between dir and Ihnen now, because I'm going to explain that in another video where I will tell you the difference between the polite form and the familiar form in German. But what you need to know is that Wie geht es dir is a familiar form and Wie geht es Ihnen is a polite or formal form. This question means how are you? If you want to translate it directly to English, it means how is it going? How is it going? And then, so how are you? But then, you know, if you were to translate it directly, it would be how is it going? And the response would be mir geht es super. If it's great, you say super. If it's just fine, you say prima. If it's okay, you say gut. And that is gut, not gut. Yeah, gut. Mir geht es super, oder prima, oder gut. Depending on how it is. If it is bad, also you can say schlecht. You know, if it's bad, you can say schlecht. So this basically means I'm doing great, I'm doing good, or okay. Then now, what another thing I need to let you know is that get s sometimes will be shortened to get. So when you see gets, don't freeze, don't panic, it's simply get s. And actually a lot of times, especially in the casual setting, people will not even say the whole Wie geht es dir. They'll simply say Wie geht's, Wie geht's. And your answer also sometimes will not be mir geht es. A lot of times it's simply going to be super, prima, good, without the full sentence. But it's important for you to know the full sentence for purposes of learning, okay? So that is basically how we greet each other in German. There is the time-specific one, and then if you want to take it a notch higher and find out how someone is doing, then you would ask them, Wie geht es dir, if they're your friend or your family member or your peer. But if they are your senior or you're in an official setting, then you would use Ihnen, and that Ihnen is written with a capital I and it's intentional. And we're going to see that when we do a video about the Du form and the Sie form in German, okay? Hiya. Now that we have said that, I want us to talk about something else, how to say goodbye. This video is a bit long, but it's just important for it to be, because it's important for us to cover as much as possible about greetings in here. Okay, so how to bid someone goodbye. The longer version or the more formal version is Auf Wiedersehen, Auf Wiedersehen. Now this word will really twist your tongue if you have not watched the video on pronunciation of vowels. Actually, not just vowels, it's everything. It's pronunciation of W, it's a pronunciation of S. So if you haven't watched our videos on pronunciations, please ensure that you go back and watch it so that your tongue is not twisted by these words, okay? Auf Wiedersehen, now translated directly, would mean see you soon, or goodbye. See you again, actually, or goodbye. It's the formal word for goodbye. Okay, Auf Wiedersehen is goodbye. Then we have Auf Wiederhören, Auf Wiederhören. and that is hören with an umlaut. And I am glad that that has sensed it. Auf Wiederhören is hear from you soon. It's also goodbye if you are talking maybe on phone or from a phone conversation or from just a conversation, because hören means to hear. So hear from you soon. It's used a lot of times on phone. Yeah, auf Wiederhören is used mostly on phone. Then we have other less formal forms such as bis bald. Bis bald, when someone says bis bald, it means until soon, till soon, also known as see you soon. Okay. Another word you might hear is bis dann. Bis dann means until then, which is basically also see you soon, until then. Then we have the most commonly used one, and this one you're going to hear even me say it to you a lot, and that is choose. Choose with an umlaut. Choose is written. Some people write it with an umlaut, others write it without an umlaut. Either way, it's okay. Choose is basically the less formal way of saying bye. Okay. So if you are just looking at someone and maybe it's in a formal meeting, you say auf Wiedersehen, yeah, auf Wiedersehen. If it's from a phone call or you're logging out of a Zoom meeting, you could say auf Wiederhören, okay? If it's in a less formal setting or it's a formal setting, but then you don't want to really use the long versions, you could say bis bald, bis dann. But choose is actually in the less formal version of this. Okay. So thank you so much for tuning in for greetings. Today it has been a lot, and I hope that you've been able to capture it. Remember, if you feel like you have missed something, you can always go back and watch the video from the beginning. In fact, I always recommend that you watch the video more than once. Remember to watch our previous videos on pronunciation, because those will help save your tongue and help you communicate in German comfortably without having the trouble of struggling to get vocabulary while at the same time learning how to pronounce it. Okay, I wish you all the best in your journey of learning German. Thank you for coming. See you in the next one. Bye-bye. Tschüss.